All right, so coming into this game, I was a little concerned. Obviously, defensively, the Giants posed some problems there. They got a lot of young talent there. Thibodeau always seems to have a big game against us. They draft Abdul Carter, et cetera. They scored a bunch of points in the preseason, and you're like, I don't know, man. But defensively, wow, that was kind of the story for Washington, right? Kind of set the tone. And look, sure, the Giants aren't very good offensively, but, man, that was great to see.
That's putting it kindly.
Yeah, that was great to see.
There was a couple of things. One, the year the Browns went 0-16 during the season, they were 3-0 in the preseason.
Yeah.
So it's why, and if you're playing your starters and other teams aren't, you better look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's one thing. That's a bad offense. However, the defense did exactly what they should, and they pretty much did. They looked like what we saw this summer in training camp. Not, and this offense, of course, is better than New York's, and missing with Terry and Noah Brown, but it's the way they played. You saw the disruption, and I think what was encouraging for them is the disruption came from multiple spots, especially on that front.
Mm-hmm.
Like Javon Kinlaw made big plays. Dorrance Armstrong, who had a really good camp, continued that into the game. Obviously Deron Payne did a nice job. Dietrich Wise made plays. So I think that to me is where, they kept Bobby Wagner clean a lot of the game. Will Harris, a strong game. So I think there are a lot of newcomers who did well. And I think that's something that, listen, man, again, New York's offensive line is not very good, but they did what they should. So you don't take anything away from them,
right?
By any means, because again, it's what we've seen, and I think that they were also like the other part too, guys. Like just watching it now, like their D line was versatile. Like they would use a lot of different sets last year, but shoot, they had one time they lined up in a 3-4 with Armstrong as one of the outside linebackers. He makes a tackle in space on the tight end. Like, you don't see a lot of guys doing that. But that is, I think, that ability to be versatile and some creativity, some size up front. You can use big rush packages that can also handle the run. And so I think that's why it's different than last year. But it's what I thought they would. It's what you saw. So just a continuation.
You touched on Dorrance Armstrong twice there, and according to Next Gen Stats, he had 9 pressures yesterday.
Yeah,
so he was in that backfield throughout the game, and they had a bunch of tackles for losses along that line too.
Yeah, and that's again, it's what we saw this summer. And one of the things with Armstrong, and you notice him standing up a lot. He has done that in the past. Did not do it as much last year. I think there's a comfort level that comes with that. That the coaches oftentimes leave it up to those guys. Like if in those situations, you want to stand up, you want to be on 3-point stance. But he I think it provides him vision. He's talked about like it helps him just see things more laterally too. But I saw him knifing through like in the goal line situation sometimes and doing things there. So it was all game. But again, he had a really good camp. And here the other thing sometimes too, like again, I'll go back to Deron Payne. There were a couple times where he's getting double teamed, so you see a Kinlaw or someone else with a one-on-one, and they were winning. And I think like that's also important as well, because not enough wins versus one-on-ones in recent years.
Secondary, I thought, was really good as well. I mean, especially against Neighbors. Neighbors was targeted 12 times, only caught 5.
They did a great job against him.
They did a really good job against him. Just talk about what you thought, especially with Lattimore and Amos.
Yeah, I mean, so last year with Neighbors, the first game, he had a big game.
Yeah, he did.
It was 82 yards after the catch. However, it was Mike Davis missing tackles.
Mm-hmm.
It was Benjamin St. Juste, but St. Juste actually wasn't that bad. It was mostly, he got beat on a cross, but it was Mike Davis missing tackles. The second game, they were much better against him, and this game they were as well. It's not, the yards after the catch weren't there. I think both Amos and Lattimore are very good. I think the pressure in Wilson's face helped, but they did a good job against him. You weren't seeing him run free. And I think there was also a play, too, and I don't know if it's the exact same play, but it was similar. And I think it also leads to not just those two, but Mikey Samerstill. So there was a play last year in that first game where the Giants run like an action to the right? So Samuel's like on the zone coverage on the right hand, on the defense's right side. So the play's going away from him. Last year, he shoots to the middle of the field, over aggressive doing that. And Neighbor sneaks behind the line and out to the flat and gets like a long run after the catch because nobody's there. This time, first of all, Dietrich Wise plays it well. He's in Wilson's face, but Sam still stays home. And even if he catches the ball, it's going to be a 2-yard loss. So it's just, I think I think the communication, the confusion that we saw a lot of times last year wasn't there. And so I think that helps as well. But you saw Quan Martin covering him at times too. And I think that's the versatility with him. And it allowed what he can do allows you to play different sorts of looks as well. So, yeah, a good job by a lot of guys against him.